Lewis has died. The longtime stand-up and Curb Your Enthusiasm cast member passed away at his L.A. home of a heart attack. Fox 11's Ed Lascos live in Hollywood with reaction tonight. Ed.
And lots of reaction, emotional reaction here at the Laugh Factory. So many reacting with sadness over the loss of a man who made them happy for so many decades. The death of Richard Lewis. Have a look. The marquee here at the Laugh Factory sadly says it all. Rest in peace. May God laugh. Richard Lewis. To the video and some images, some pictures of our memories through all the decades of this iconic comedian who left his mark in the 70s and 80s, doing stand-up, that distinctive stage, his style, you know, on stage, always dressed in black, his comedy always centered around his paranoia, walking back and forth, always unnerved. You know, you talk about his recent work on Curb Your Enthusiasm on NBC, on HBO, the hit that's been going on now for 12, 13 seasons. Then you talk about, remember the sitcom on Fox back in the 1990s, Daddy Dearest, Richard Lewis co-starring along with the legend Don Rickles. So many memories. He even left his mark on the big screen in the Mel Brooks classic film, Robin Hood, Men in Tights. Richard Lewis, always funny, laughing really at his own expense. Here's some of the other memories he leaves behind. Listen.
He had this incredible structure and care for the craft of comedy. And when you're not a comic and you're watching that, you just think it's some, like a lunatic just kind of like ranting on the sidewalk. But when you become a comic, you realize how much craft and how much time and care he put into his work.
For comedy community, we lost one of the biggest giant. I cried the time I found out about what's happened, and he was one of the kind.
And he was not the only one crying. Larry David, longtime friend, I was talking about that hit on HBO, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry David says, quote, Richard and I were born 3 days apart in the same hospital, and for most of my life, he's been like a brother to me. He had that rare combination of being the funniest person and also the sweetest, but today he made me sob, and for that, I'll never forgive him. Even comedy at the end there from Larry David, remembering that longtime friend that he had, Richard Lewis here. So many fans coming by and saying they remember their early Richard Lewis, thinking about the Johnny Carson show back in the 70s and 80s, and then his recent appearances. But he's always been very open in terms of what he's been dealing with, recovering alcoholic, dealing with alcoholism for 30-some years, and even last year very open when he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and then sadly the news today that he had passed on at his Los Angeles home, dying of a heart attack. Richard Lewis leaving us at 76 years. For now, we're live here along the strip of the Laugh Factory. Back to the west side we go.
Yeah, we just saw him on Curb Your Enthusiasm last week, joking about, you know, potentially dying, and him and Larry kidding each other on that, and you just feel for Richard's family and Larry and everybody who loved him so much. Ed Lascos, thank you for that reporting.